Have you ever seen a finance expert confidently say, you can withdraw 8% a year from your retirement savings and be completely safe? Or heard someone claim you must save $5 million before you can retire? Those statements aren't just exaggerated, they can be dangerous. In this video, we will carefully examine two of the worst retirement myths popularized by well-known finance figures, explain why they don't hold up in real life, and guide you toward more reliable ways to secure your future. Lie number 1. Dave Ramsey's 8% withdrawal rule. When a famous finance personality promotes an 8% safe withdrawal rate, it may sound compelling. The principle behind this claim is that if you withdraw 8% of your portfolio in the first year of retirement and then increase that amount annually for inflation, you will have enough money for the rest of your life. The logic is that you earn around 12% on average each year, and taking 8% leaves a buffer to grow your savings. But this oversimplifies how investments behave, ignores important costs, and puts retirees at serious risk. The foundation of this idea traces back to the so-called 4% rule, which was originally based on research showing that retirees with a balanced mix of stocks and bonds could withdraw about 4% of their initial portfolio and adjust for inflation each year without running out of money in 30 years. That rule assumes some diversification and steady returns. In contrast, the 8% rule assumes a portfolio always stays fully invested in stocks, specifically an S&P 500 index fund, and that the stock market consistently gives 12% returns. The problem is that neither assumption reflects reality. Examining historical data shows that the stock market's average return over long periods is closer to 10.7%. Even with a 50-year view, it averages around 11.5%. That difference of around 1.5 to 2% per year compounds dramatically over decades. Further, investment fees and taxes reduce your actual returns, but are never included in the 8% rule. A strategy that ignores those factors can leave retirees withdrawing too much early on and slowly draining their savings. Another major flaw lies in the pattern of returns. Markets do not grow in a straight, upward line. Instead, they cycle through highs and lows. If someone starts withdrawing at a fixed 8% per year and a market crash occurs in the early years of retirement, the combination of low returns and fixed withdrawals can deplete the portfolio quickly. Selling assets at a low point means fewer assets remain to benefit when markets rebound. This sequence risk is one of the most important dangers facing retirees. Models show that starting retirement just before a downturn can drastically reduce the chances of maintaining income throughout later years. Academic research has also tested more aggressive withdrawal strategies and found poor outcomes. One study examined portfolios with withdrawals from 3 to 10% under various market scenarios. The results clearly show that an 8% withdrawal rate resulted in a high chance of running out of money. In fact, the likelihood of exhaustion within 15 years was high enough to be considered unacceptable for most people. Those issues combined make the 8% rule dangerously unreliable. It assumes best-case returns, ignores costs, and ignores the real behavior of markets. Advising people to base their retirement strategy on this simplistic rule exposes them to serious danger. Instead of following flashy numbers, a more cautious and flexible approach is needed that reflects real market behavior and actual costs. Lie number 2. Suze Orman's $5 million minimum rule. Another widely spread falsehood is the idea that early or even standard retirement always requires $5 million or more. A well-known finance expert recently stated that anyone retiring on less than $5 million, especially early, risks disaster if unexpected events occur. That limits the options for millions of people who are on solid footing financially, but do not have multi-million-dollar savings. It also sends a discouraging message that unless you hit a high net worth threshold, you will never be safe. This claim is misleading because it fails to account for individual circumstances like lifestyle, spending needs, other income sources, and investment strategy. Retirement planning is not about whether you reach a certain number. It is about balancing your income streams, investments, and costs. A cookie-cutter rule of 5 million ignores how people differ in spending, where they live, and the insurance they carry. It assumes that everyone has the same financial requirements regardless of their unique situation. Furthermore, it encourages unnecessary delay in retirement. If someone hears they need $5 million to retire, they might postpone leaving work, even though they are in a position to enjoy an early or timely retirement. That extra working time may add years of income and reduce savings withdrawals, but it may also delay personal goals and well-being. For those already within sight of retirement, hearing that they still have years to go can be demoralizing, even if they are in a strong financial position. A more accurate approach to retirement planning emphasizes flexibility. Spending habits change over time. Retirees often spend more in the early years when they are active, travel more, and try new things. Later on, health issues or simple lifestyle changes usually mean spending less in those years. A $5 million rule makes no room for this natural progression, so it overrides reality and undermines good planning. Furthermore, using advanced financial tools and simulations, it becomes clear that many people can retire with less than $5 million if their withdrawal strategies, investments, and timing are handled wisely. Spending levels, years until retirement, risk management, and taxes all play a role. While some may indeed need large sums, others can manage with much less. What matters most is how you allocate your money and the assumptions you make around growth, inflation, costs, and risk. Believing that a fixed threshold is necessary leads to missed opportunities. Instead of exploring how to optimize spending, reduce volatility, or shift partial income sources, the headline distracts from real solutions. It is healthier to view retirement planning as a dynamic puzzle. Each person pieces together their own version based on risk tolerance, health, family responsibilities, and comfort level with market swings. There is no universal threshold that applies equally to everyone. What actually matters in retirement? A better approach to retirement planning includes several key elements. First, a realistic withdrawal rate, usually around 4%, is a safe starting point and can be adjusted over time. It considers costs, inflation, and market behavior. Second, investment strategy matters. A well-diversified portfolio that includes both stocks and bonds can reduce risk. A strategy that pipes a portion of your expenses into safer investments, cash or short-term bonds protected from market losses, is effective during downturns. This approach, often called bucketing, helps to avoid selling stocks in a downturn and gives time for recovery. Third, retirement timing and lifestyle choices are critical. How you spend each year of retirement usually changes. Planning for different phases, active early years, and slower later years, helps avoid long-term strain on savings. There is also Social Security, pensions, part-time income, insurance, and other income layers that support a secure retirement. Ignoring those layers simplifies the process too much. Finally, risk planning is essential. Planning must account for unexpected recession, medical emergencies, or prolonged illness. Simulations with thousands of scenarios give a probability of success, not a guarantee. Using these probabilistic tools helps you gauge comfort in different situations. This also allows for fine-tuning. If odds are low, you can reduce spending, delay retirement, or shift investments. If odds are high, you may keep your original path. This kind of planning requires care. It calls for realistic assumptions about market returns, inflation, taxes, and sequence risk. It also requires updates over time as conditions change. Most importantly, it treats each retirement plan as personal rather than universal. It gives individuals flexibility to change course as new priorities arise. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you rethink some of the common myths around retirement, make sure to give it a like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe for more straightforward financial content that cuts through the noise and helps you make smarter money decisions.